Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to another Emerald City Hockey dance party. Oh man, this last little bit for the Kraken after that rough patch, they are just totally turning things around, and it is fabulous. As I said, welcome to the Postgame Live presented by Queen Anne Beer Hall. Definitely want to get them the shout out. Um, what a great 60-minute effort from the Kraken. Yeah, there was a couple times that things got a little rough for them, but you know what? For the most part, Gru was right there. Grubauer with another awesome performance. I mean, I'm starting to feel like a broken record just talking about how great Gru has been of late, but it's true. I mean, that's just what we're seeing from him right now is that he is just on fire. He is a wall. Nothing is getting past him. And I couldn't be more happy about it for him or for the team. Matty Beniers still snake bitten when it comes to trying to get a goal, but he's playing out of his mind, generating tons of fantastic opportunities for himself, but also setting up his teammates, as we saw him do a couple times tonight. Ebbs getting on hat trick watch early, unfortunately, couldn't finish it off. Things got crazy there at the very end. So lots of stuff to talk about as far as that last sequence. I mean, there was penalties, ejection, everything was going on there. It was wild. But I think for now we can head on over to the comment section and start us off with a super chat here from Cody. Hopefully this means they've knocked the rust off and can get back to Kraken hockey. Cody, I think we are back to Kraken hockey because I would say that's Kraken hockey, baby. Because I mean, they're playing so well right now. They really are. Everything's looked pretty good for them now. Power play still got its issues or whatever, but I feel like just like last game, power play looks kind of dangerous now. Like the opportunities they're getting, they're dangerous opportunities. Like there was a lot of cool stuff going on there. So yeah, I think things are good, are all good for them. Cameron with the super chat as well for the dad energy. Definitely. What a great performance they were able to put on for all their dads and mentors and everybody there. I love when teams do that kind of stuff, when they do the mom's trips, when they do the dad trips, all that kind of stuff. I always think that that's a lot of fun that they were doing. And it's just good to see them. And yeah, definitely happy that the Kraken were able to give them all a good performance there. I got to also think, everybody walking over, shaking the hand of Grubauer's dad, kind of got to after this one, right? Like, I definitely got to think about that. Just because I saw these around the super chat, I'm going to start with them rather than up at the start of chat. One was just because me and Gregory have been missing each other here. Got the lemon lime Gatorade. Let's go. Kick things off with that. So I just want to make sure I got that in there with Gregory. And then super chat here, real quick. From Schultz, got the W despite some interesting officiating. Gru looking great. Was Hayden sent down for Drieger, Burakovsky, or perhaps a trade coming? We will ask RJ about that one because I'm very curious about it, whether it's just like it can't just be banking a little bit of cap money. It's not that much, I would think. It's a really good question because it could be any of those three things, or it just could be that the Kraken just feel like this is puts them in the best position for now. However, given the comments that Dave Hackstall has been making about what he wants the bottom line to be, the fourth line for the Kraken, I got to think that this is actually because somebody is coming back or somebody is coming back to town or into town. So I think you're onto something there that it's going to be one of those. But we will ask RJ. He's obviously more plugged in with the day-to-day being around the team as much as he is. This one I just wanted to get to from Joshua, just because I know Joshua is on the East Coast and this is, like 1 a.m. time. So I want to be able to answer your comment here and your question here, Joshua, just so if you want to be getting to bed soon, you can. Dylan, can you explain the whole Tanev situation at the end there? Why did he get ejected too? So that was an interesting situation. First off, let's just start with like the tripping penalty from Perron on Tanev with the empty net. Should he have been awarded a free goal there? What's the situation there? If in a situation like that, if there's an empty net opportunity, a player's on the breakaway and the penalty gets caused that keeps them from getting or completing a scoring chance, the player is generally just awarded the goal because without that penalty having taken place, the player would have scored. It was an empty net. They had a breakaway, all that kind of stuff. I do kind of agree with the refs that he wasn't quite to that level of like automatic scoring, given the way things were. I mean, they were still jostling back and forth there. It wasn't clear to me, even watching the replay, that yes, 100% for sure Tanev was going to be able to control that puck, gain possession of the puck away from Tanev as they're battling for the loose puck, gain possession of the puck, go in and get that automatic scoring chance. So I kind of agree with them not automatically awarding the penalty there. When it comes to how everything else was handled, so obviously Bertuzzi, and they never gave us a good replay on the Root broadcast. I don't know if the Red Wings broadcast did. Obviously, Bertuzzi did something as the linesman was kind of just already walking Tanev away. Obviously frustrated Tanev, as anybody would be in that situation. Bertuzzi did something. He like slashed towards the backside of Tanev, it looks like, and he also clipped the linesman. And I think that's really clear, because the lineman immediately points to him, looking at the ref like, okay, that guy he did something. He says something. I don't know what he said, but he's clearly indicating that player did something. And because he made contact with the linesman, like making contact with the linesman or a ref is like a big no and can be grounds for automatic ejection. I think that's why Bertuzzi went. I think the reason Tanev went was just because either A, he did something to the linesman when he was trying to get to Bertuzzi that they felt was crossing a line, but more likely what I think it was with Tanev there was that they just didn't want the whole situation to spiral out of control. They didn't want Tanev to go after somebody to go after Tanev based on something he said while he was hot. I think that was just the refs saying, look, there's 30 seconds left in this game. We just want this game to end. We don't want people getting hurt. We don't want anarchy. We're just going to end this. And the easiest way to send that message and to make sure that happens is just sending both guys out of there and just getting them out of there. Don't give them a chance to fight. Don't give anybody else a chance to fight one of them. And so do I think Tanev deserved to get a misconduct there to get ejected? No, I really don't. I unless I missed something or they didn't, we weren't able to see it on the video. I don't think Tanev did anything that deserved that. I think that was strictly just the refs trying to control the last 30 minutes of a game that all of a sudden became very tense and very much had a lot of stuff boiling beneath the surface. So I think they just wanted to get everybody out of there and cool things off. So that would be my understanding. Obviously, as an outsider watching that, given past experiences we've seen from refs and how they've handled certain situations like this in game. That's going to be my guess. Can ask RJ. We might, he might get more post game wise from that. We'll find out. But that's my assessment of the situation. All right, Ty, way to close it out. And good Lord, Gru. Absolutely. This was, like I said, fantastic game from Gru. Again, he's just awesome. Tammy, slow start, but they played all the way to the end. Great win for sure. Cody with the dance party. That is right. Certainly saying the dad's got a W for sure. Joshua, great win, but can anybody tell me why it looks like the Kraken are allergic to scoring empty net goals? Lol. Ask Maddie, because he seems allergic to scoring goals, period, right now, no matter how amazing the chances he gives himself. It is kind of funny. Michael, well, I think you could put the whole who is the Kraken starting goalie thing to rest. Absolutely. Now, there might be a time in the future where things start to look a little bit different again. I got to hope that maybe Hackstall has learned to maybe spot that a little sooner and can go ahead and make that switch if he needs to. Obviously, right now, there is no need. Just get Grubauer in there as much as you possibly can. He's ready. Lindsay, Maddie was on fire tonight. Those passes were ridiculous. My 3 stars for the night, Gru, Ebbs, and Maddie. I would agree with you, Lindsay. I felt like they were the 3 best players for the Kraken. There was a lot of great performances from the Kraken. I thought Yanni had a really good game. I thought Allison did a great job during that second intermission talking about the value of Alexander Wenberg, something we've talked about on these post games before, in shutting down Dylan Larkin, somebody who's been red hot. I should know he's on my fantasy team. He's been red hot for the Red Wings. We saw him get a goal late in this one. And also, how about that decision by the Red Wings with like 4 minutes left, down 3, to go ahead and pull the goalie? I'm gonna just go out there and say this. I know I'm giving credit to an opponent. I loved that call by the Red Wings coach. I think that's exactly the kind of message you need to send to your guys, is like, we just always believe that we can be in this game and we can always potentially come back. I thought that was kind of cool. It's a gutsy move, but I thought it was kind of a cool move. Let's see. Finally, some consistent goal support for Gruby, right? I know it only took us 55 games or whatever. Right? Oh man, Coop, yeehaw, baby! What an unreal effort all around. Ebbs, Gru, Gordo, Maddie, such a fun game to watch. Also, we are so bad at empty netters. Lol. Hey, look, if you got to be bad at something, scoring on an empty net, it should be the thing that you're bad at. As far as I'm concerned, that's like best case scenario. This is what we can't do, right? Uh, Michael, Red Wings played a really impressive game and yet still a strong Kraken win. Definitely. There was a couple times that, the Red Wings were able to get some decent zone time on the Kraken there. Kraken defense, they kind of did their thing again where they look a little panicky, and I'm including forwards in on this too. It's not just the defensemen. They get a little panicky. Their internal clock of how long they have to maybe make a move or settle something down and really try to find the best passing opportunity, they get a little spooked. I don't know how else to say it, but they very much feel like, oh no, the puck's on my stick. I got to move it as fast as I can. And you don't always need to do that when a situation becomes hectic. If you can actually, if you know you have the time and space, slow things down a little bit. You can steal some of that momentum away. You can have everybody on your team out there on the ice take that little bit of a breath and calm down and start thinking again. And I still feel like that's one of those few Achilles heels that we've seen kind of consistently sprinkled in throughout this season for the Kraken. We saw it in this one because of what the Red Wings were doing. Like you said, Michael, they did play an impressive game. This is a team that was on a 5-game win streak. Obviously, the Kraken are better. They were able to get good goals. They were able to kind of pick apart the Red Wings defense, especially their defensemen tonight. They did a really good job of that. But if I did have like one takeaway of like, what's the one thing the Kraken need to work on after this one? It's just that when things start to get a little hectic, a little frenetic in the defensive end, go ahead and calm things down. It's okay. There's always times where you're going to have that little extra half second of time and space that you can go ahead and use, and maybe you'll see a better opportunity to get the puck out of there and kind of kill all of that momentum that the other team's getting. Kraken Hawk, word on the street is that Gru Hater Land of late is down. Whoa, sorry. Word on the street is that down at Gru Haterland as of late, all you can hear is crickets. I thought the same thing during this one, Kraken Hawk, and I apologize for stumbling and fumbling my way through your comment there. That is all on me. I thought the same thing. I was like, man, I haven't been seeing all those tweets about how bad he's been. I wonder what happened to all those people. Lindsay with the Grubauer for Vesna, haha, JK, unless, look, he plays the rest of this way. He plays this way the rest of the season. Maybe it's possible there. Hockey Fork. I know it's not that kind of hockey anymore, but I really wish we had someone who would take a run at Bertuzzi the second the buzzer sounded. Well, he was already in the locker room. I kind of talked about this already. That's why the refs sent him and Tanev off, was they didn't want a situation like that to develop. It's clear that is the one kind of thing that the league has started to take more seriously and try to get out of the game. And so the refs did what they were supposed to there, what the NHL wants them to do. And kind of keep that from happening. I do think, though, based on, we talked about this last time, how this team has responded to when guys take runs at Maddie. I think someone on this team definitely would have done that. So I think we know the team still has that mentality to stick up for each other, but I do agree with the refs kind of just getting everybody out of there and not letting things develop into a bad situation. Coop, not gonna lie, really wish Maddie finished that drive to the bucket or one of the other wide open shots. I'm with you. I think, I want him to score goals. He's working so hard to get there. These are incredible chances. And to be honest, like that one you're talking about, that would have been a great highlight reel highlight reel goal of like, look how talented and a hard worker this kid is, that could have used come Calder voting time. But that is the way it is. James, love this team. As the biggest Beniers stan, I can say I'm pumped for him right now. Looks fast, smooth, solid. He absolutely does, James. Absolutely. He is back to kind of looking like the Kraken's best player because he's still giving that consistent, solid defensive effort. Is he the best defender amongst the forwards on this team? Maybe not yet. I think Wenberg still has that title, but he's right up there as top 2 or 3. McCann's also very, very good there. But then you look at the offensive chances he's able to generate for this team. And then the respect Detroit was giving him because of that opens things up for that Alexiak goal at 4-on-4 because he's sucking in all of the defenders and all of the attention of the Red Wings because they're just like, we have to give it to this guy because yes, we've just gotten lucky essentially that he hasn't scored already on us. And that just tells you the kind of impact that he's making when teams are obviously dedicating that much attention defensively to him. Tammy, thank you very much for reminding everybody to like the stream. I like the little Afra emoji there. Braun, hey all, how sure are we that Gruby is for sure back? I think we were very, very for sure that he is back. Everybody talking about Matty playing out of his mind. That's right, Coop. He's up to 40 points. It's fantastic. Krakenuk, if we've learned anything about this team this year, it's that they are streaky. When we get multiple goals from numerous players, win streak starts. They're getting hot again. That is true. They are getting hot again. And they're kind of putting to shame this whole month-to-month thing that we had going on. We thought we had finally figured it out, and maybe it was a month-to-month thing, but here we are in February, looking pretty good. Chris, we're staying up late tonight. Shut down a hot Detroit team. Gru was hot tonight. My goodness, that late spell in the third. Absolutely. And I do want to thank everybody, whether you're East Coast, Central Time, Mountain Time, Pacific Time like me, it's 10:30. It's late. I do thank all of you for being here and being here together. As I look up, we've got 114 people in here. Thank you very much. Let's see. Was hoping for Tanev to punch Bertuzzi. I know, as we talked about there. Strata, can we talk a little bit about how bad a pairing of Sherratt and Hronek is? It's rough. Hronek also on my fantasy team. I had 3 Red Wings tonight. This was a brutal night for me, but in a good way, because it meant the Kraken did well. That was terrible. I know that it was awful, Stratic. I don't know what else to talk about, but it was bad. It was really, really bad pairing for them. Shushan, we're going streaking. Yes, we'll get RJ and all that when he comes in. Ben, how about the Kings blowing a 4-goal lead tonight too? Yes, Kings playing against Arizona. I don't know who actually ends up winning that game. The Kings looks like they got it in the shootout. That's unfortunate, but they had a 5-1 lead at the end of the first period, and they allowed Arizona back in that game. So there's trouble in LA land, we'll just say. Let's see. Matty makes some insane passes. Some of these are McDavid-esque from Michael. They are. I mean, he sees the ice so well. This was one of the things that was very apparent to me when I saw him in that warm-up. That first morning skate that he did at CPA was just that he saw the ice differently from everybody else. And he knows how to get the puck there. We saw it with his first NHL point in his first NHL game as he makes this total diagonal cross zone pass, no look to Ryan Donato to pick up that primary assist. He is special when it comes to offense. It's so easy to talk about the defense and the 200-foot game and the effort he puts in on the forecheck and the PK and all of that other stuff. But the bottom line is, behind all that stuff that's really easy to talk about is this guy that sees the game in a way very few other people on the planet can. And we got to see some of that tonight. We've been seeing more of it lately as he kind of recovers from what we assume was a concussion. These last couple games, it seems like incrementally he's just stepping it up. And I'm really, really intrigued to see what that ends up looking like. And I'm really happy that he's just getting back on the board. You can tell that it's helped his confidence. It's causing him to try more out there, and I just love to see that, and it's going to really help out his Calder campaign as well. Tammy Yanni all over special teams. He was all over the place tonight. That's why I included him when I was talking about the guys that stood out to me, because Yanni Gourde has really taken to heart this whole like net front on the power play role. Obviously, he's a fantastic penalty killer. We know that about him, but I love seeing him out there on the power play in that net front role. I really think that that's helped a lot of things out for this team. And then just the way that they're trying to pass down low, utilize maybe guys below the goal line to get things going. Like the power play has just looked so different. I know they weren't able to score tonight, but they've looked so different since the Kraken have gotten back to Seattle, and I'm thrilled by it. Jake Wallman led the wings and game score. Lol from Alex. I'm sure Striatic's happy about that. Oh yeah, here we go. Of course, Wallman led the wings and game score. He's fantastic, and the Kraken should acquire him. Yes, he did have a decent game. Michael, wonder what the expected goals for this game is. Wouldn't be surprised if it favored the Red Wings. It's possible that it did, but there's also some like the Tolvanen goal. RJ had a fantastic tweet over on the ECH Twitter account about like, I wonder what the expected goals is for that Tolvanen goal, where you've got him and Geeky just completely wide open and all alone in front of Husso, also on my fantasy team. That's it. I promise that was everybody. All alone in front of Husso just for that tap in on the empty net. I mean, it doesn't get any easier than that. Expected goals were in favor of the Kraken, 3.97 for the Kraken, so very much in line with what they got, and 3.14 for the Red Wings. So yeah, it was a closer than maybe what most of that game looked like. But that's just because Grubauer is playing so out of his mind. It's awesome. That should have been a goal for Tanev. This was one of the worst officiated games we've had in a while from the Dalek there. I spoke about it before. I could see why they didn't award Tanev the goal, just because he didn't really have possession of the puck when things went down, when he was taken down with the trip. So I kind of get it. But the rest of the game, I don't know. I've seen worse. It feels like I didn't see things that were too blatant. Like they called the kind of cut and dry high sticking calls. I don't know. It wasn't great. I definitely agree with you there, but I think it was okay. Fight everyone, Turbo. Let's go from Nathan. Definitely. Cody with the shout out to all the East Coasters and folks across the pond who stay up for these games. Absolutely. I mean, I'm sitting there on the couch watching that third period yawning. You just can't help it, right? But then the Kraken, they play like they did, and you just can't help but get energized, fired up about it. That's why I've had all this energy talking to you guys. You guys all get me fired up. I just love talking about this team, especially when they play like they play tonight. Ira also wanted to comment that the banter between John, Eddie, and JT has been amazing this year. Glad the chemistry between all three has grown through the season. Definitely. I mean, there's lots of stuff that they talk about that I just sit there and I just go like, huh? What? Am I hearing this right? Is this what's being talked about right now during this hockey game while the play is ongoing? This is what we're talking about. Okay. But at the same time, I'm laughing. I'm having a good time. And it's not like they're only doing fun stuff. They also are all three of them extremely good at breaking down what's going on, talking about the game, being involved with the game. At a moment's notice, they can snap back to what's going on in the game if the game dictates that. So just the fact that they can educate as well as they do, they can be as entertaining as they are. It's a really, really special group. And, whether you're new to hockey, new to sports, as I know some of you are, just know this is not common at all. This is beyond uncommon. This is very rare. If we're going with like a trading card game thing where past rare, this is like the secret rare stuff. You know what I mean? Like that just doesn't happen, that you get a group of people and then you start throwing in people like Allison Piper just to round out the whole thing. And it's incredible. It can't be stated enough how awesome everybody is at all of this stuff. Speaking of awesome reporters, people who cover the team, all that kind of stuff. Let's go ahead and I guess we'll bring in RJ because he gets to be around all those awesome people.
I knew you wouldn't be going straight forward on that. I knew there had to be some kind of backhanded comment there. But you're right. I do get to be around all those awesome people. So hopefully, some of that can rub off on me, and I can pretend to be a great reporter for you guys tonight.
Yeah, no, you do a great job. We had a couple questions about things. I already kind of broke down like my opinion of how things ended there. But just because I see another comment here from Sarah about kind of what happened with that last penalty and how everything went down. Do you want to give your opinion on both just whether or not Tanev should have been awarded the goal, and then also why he was also kind of given the misconduct and sent out of the game.
Right. So, I mean, first of all, I know it's a judgment call there, and I don't want to question the officiating too much on that. I probably would have awarded the goal. It looked like he had a clear enough, shot of it to me that it, was going in without that penalty. So I probably would have awarded the goal. But it is a tough call, and I know the officials don't all, you don't want to. Be willy-nilly just awarding goals. You want to make sure it's something clear. So I get that. And then as far as why he got the misconduct too. So what happened is, Tanev was just kind of there after the play, and then Bertuzzi, I don't know how much the broadcast showed it, but Bertuzzi gave him a whack. And then that just absolutely set Tanev off. He was, trying to get around the linesman, trying to get back at Bertuzzi, doing everything he possibly could. And at that point, what the officials are going to want to do is just send both guys off, just get that whole situation off the ice with so little time left. And it doesn't matter who started, doesn't matter whose fault it was, just need to get those two guys away from the game. It's part of that game management. They made the right call there. That's pretty much what any official would do. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, and so I agree with you on that second part. That's what I felt like was happening, was they just didn't want anything to escalate, just get rid of both of them and get through the last 30 seconds of the game. I actually disagreed with you. I understood why they didn't award Tanev the goal, because he didn't really have like possession of the puck, really. Like, it was still kind of a battle around that, so I could see them not wanting to go with it. But it's
I'll have to go back and watch it, because
it's subjective. It's very
only
subjective.
saw it live, so I'm assuming you've seen a replay.
Yeah, it's a very subjective kind of thing there. We've been talking about all the East Coast people, all the people over in Europe. RJ, and staying up for this one. Barbara, 4:30 alarm today, debating if going back to sleep is smart.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you, Barbara, for getting up and for being here with us. I can't believe that. But admire the dedication. That is awesome.
Definitely.
Yeah, rough 7:30 start time.
Yep, as Rebecca said, at least you're rewarded with a W, Barbara. Definitely. Let's see here. Daniel asking, would you start Jones against the Sharks or keep riding Grubauer? Yeah, lots of talk about how fantastic Grubauer was, of course, after this performance. But you give Martin Jones the revenge game?
I don't know. I mean, just Martin Jones, San Jose, it scares me. I don't know why exactly, but just... I don't know. It scares me a little bit. I would try and keep riding Grubauer here. I don't think you're in real danger of burning him out too much. I mean, we're not at that point yet. He hasn't played a whole lot of games this season. You don't want to mess with a good thing. I just go right back to Grubauer. You need these points.
Yeah, I can understand that. Gregory asking, when was the last time Gru has started 3 straight games? This is the Grubauer that I know and love. Been a while.
Yeah, back last season is the answer.
Yeah. Lindsey Borgen had another sneaky good game. Yeah, I know he did. That deep pairing of him and Alexiak, there is no other roller coaster like it.
I know. They were good again tonight, I thought. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much you talked about it, but like this time it felt like Susie Schultz was bad or worse tonight than Alexiak Borgen, but I liked what I saw from those two. It is a roller coaster. If the Kraken have practice tomorrow, and I don't know if they will, but if they do, I'm going to ask Haxtell about it. In terms of just, hey, what have you seen that you've liked from those D combos? Got to phrase it the right way, but I'm curious what his thoughts are on that.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Light, with that win, we've beaten all original 6 teams this year. Also got to give big rig props. Looks like he got it together after the last few bad games. So yeah, similar to what we were just talking about. But yeah, how about that? Got the sweep of the original 6 there, RJ. Okay.
Yes.
Maybe you
I thought you moved on to the next comment.
No, I was looking for one that we had talked about earlier that I was going to get your opinion on. So I was trying to remember what it was.
Oh, okay.
I was go back for it, but I'll let you talk about this one from Cameron while I go look for it. Would Larkin be a worthwhile trade target?
I think he would cost too much. And if you look at the prices of players that are out there, you see what Ryan O'Reilly fetched last night. You're talking about multiple high draft picks or a very good prospect. I mean, of course, Dylan Larkin is going to make this team better this year. There's no question about that. But I think, it's just not going to be worth the price given where the Kraken are at. I think they don't need to mortgage the future there. And then I still think the Red Wings might try and get an extension done with him. I know they like him.
Yeah, I know. It's it's a real tough situation for them with him as far as like how close are they really to competing and all that kind of stuff. But I've always been a big fan of Dylan Larkin and his game. We saw it tonight, what he can do. He is a fantastic player. So yeah, if for some reason Detroit is looking to move on from him, even though they're kind of trying to push for the playoffs here, I would definitely be interested in him. It would be interesting too after the Ryan O'Reilly trade, what the asking price would kind of be on somebody.
Would have to think it'd be higher.
I would think so too. I don't know why I can't find. I'm just like totally spacing on what the comment was that I was like, oh no, well, let's get RJ's opinion on it. So if anybody remembers, throw it down at the bottom of the chat. We'll get it. We'll get to it here in a little bit. Rebecca, speaking of things we're bad at, how was the face-off percentage tonight? I feel like I noticed a lot of big wins. DJ and Tay, next comment. Did we win the face-off battle tonight? We did, actually, 54%. So good job, Kraken.
All right.
You were getting there. Yeah. Medeiros, the combo of Grubauer right now and the goal support Jones was getting were red hot. I'm having a great week.
I'm sure you are. I mean, yeah, we're getting the Martin Jones team in front of Philip Grubauer, and it's amazing. I mean, this is kind of what we were dreaming of earlier on in the season. Yeah, just great that they get that for him.
Yes. Lindsay asking, are the Kraken and Red Wings the two fastest teams in the league? Because damn, the speed was apparent tonight, especially in the first and second.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fast-paced game. There was a lot of speed going back and forth. And I think that is kind of the way that both teams like to play, in a game like this. And, once the score, once the Kraken take a bigger lead and everything, you try and slow the game down and you're not playing that fast, just by design, trying to hold a lead. But yeah, the pace in this game, especially like coming out to start the first period, I'm like, oh man, you could tell I think I tweeted, you could tell the dads are in the building. Like the effort, the energy, the hustle, it was all there.
Yes, it was. And you talk about a team with like somebody like a Dylan Larkin, we've seen win fastest skater in the past, right? Like, that's up for it. I love any sort of game like this that has that back and forth, fast-paced style. It's fantastic. All right, so the question that we were going to ask you, RJ, was it was actually a super chat, so it's even more embarrassing that I forgot it. But it was Hayden sent down for Drieger coming back, Burakovsky coming back, or because of an incoming trade?
Well, I could, if it's an incoming trade, I wouldn't be able to to say that because I wouldn't know. But I think what it is just to bank cap space. I think the plan was to put Sprong back in the lineup, and if you're going to do that, you might as well send Hayden down because you just don't need that extra reserve player. And the Kraken need to bank all the cap space they can, whether it's for a potential trade, whether it's for even having enough cap space left for potential Matty Beniers performance bonuses. I covered a few of these things in the Armchair GM chat, and going to the front page of Armchair GM when I was doing that chat, it showed the Kraken as actually having like negative cap space, on that day, which again, you need to free up some money there. And so sending Hayden down is a way to do that. The other thing though, and I think this might be the biggest reason, is to avoid having to put him on waivers again. I forgot to check earlier today the clock of basically how long he was up in the NHL, but I think he was approaching the amount of time where he would need to go through waivers again in order for them to send him down. And you got to figure if you do that, you're probably going to lose him.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's the one I forgot because I had thought about the banking of the cap space. I didn't realize quite the situation that they were in because it fluctuates day to day. The cap stuff drives me crazy. But because I was like, well, if you send him down for like just a couple of days, are you really banking that much space, like as far as being usable? But I was only thinking of like trade wise. I forgot like the idea of, well, if Drieger's coming off of IR and you got to hold on to him, that's cap coming back on that you got to deal with. And then, the performance bonuses from Maddie. So this is why you host the Armchair GM streams and I don't.
Hey, I mean, get me trying to scout the players out there tonight. We'll see why you run the scouting streams.
Yeah, I was going to say, just a reminder, everybody, Patreon link in the description below. All of our past live streams, whether it's my prospect ones or your Armchair GM ones, if you sign up for the Patreon, you have access to the VODs of that. You can go back and watch it. You won't be live to participate in chat, but you'll be able to get all that information still just the same. So if you feel like you've missed out or anything, don't worry. It's all there if you want to go ahead and sign up. Coop, damn, Arizona came all the way back against the Kings and then lost in OT. I know, that was crazy. As we were doing all the scoreboard watching, Edzo talked about it on the broadcast, RJ. That's what things are about right now for the Kraken, is that out of town scoreboard watching. And not the greatest of nights for that. At least the Kraken.
No, unfortunately, yeah, it doesn't really help the Kraken at all if the Kings, win there. It's I guess it gets them one less regulation win, but it doesn't really help.
Yes. We need the story as to why Dylan owns 3 Red Wings in fantasy. Dylan's fantasy players ate all their Wheaties this week. It's actually ridiculous. Yes, Rebecca knows. Rebecca's in the league. My team is kind of going off. I'm not going to say too much. We still got 1 day left. I'm not going to try to jinx anything. But Red Wings are a hot team, okay? I pick them up because of it. All right, leave me alone.
Hot and ready.
Yep, exactly. As Alex talking about too, making celebratory hot shocky, because why not? Exactly, why not? You're staying up with us on the East Coast. You need it. Need the sugar and caffeine. Maddie, 55% on the dot. Coop pointing out. I was just talking about right before you joined us, RJ. Maddie looks like he's incrementally getting better and better. We talked about him a lot early on. All the fantastic passing, the playmaking, his vision, the speed. But yeah, I mean, even face-offs. That might be his best night on the face-off dot all season.
I've got to go look at his game log. I think that might actually be the best there. Good for him. I thought he was great tonight. Is so confident too. You could tell coming off of that 10-game point drought and breaking that last game, he's just kind of reached this whole other level now with his confidence. The way he's seeing the ice, I'm just so impressed by. You look at his 2 assists where they're just tape-to-tape passes to guys, in the zone. And on that first one, just drawing the defender. He's got a defender basically all over him, and he still finds Everly right on the tape. I mean, those are the kind of plays that you don't see when a player is in a long scoring slump. But it seems to all be going right for him. And of course, Everly too. The 2 of them seem to be heating up together.
Yeah. I just went and pulled up his game log. He actually has had two games in which tied at the top, 66.7%. Face-off.
Didn't take 3 face-offs.
No, he won 10 and lost 5.
Okay. I was that's even third numbers. I was like,
I know. So one of those was that Chicago game that we had our watch party up at Queen Anne Beer Hall. So
okay, see, I must have missed it because of all the goals. Yes. All 8 goals. I probably missed the face-offs.
Yeah, we definitely weren't paying attention to face-offs. We were talking about the goals there. But yeah, everything that Maddie's been up to lately has just been fantastic. Evan, I wanted an Ebbs Hattie. I know when the Kraken actually scored their 4th goal, which was like the easiest goal in the history of goals, I said, oh no, now we're not going to get the empty netter for Ebbs.
Yep. Hey, they still had a shot, and they put him out there too. Unfortunately, it resulted in the Red Wings goal. And after that point, I'm like, all right, well, he's not seeing the ice for the rest of this game. And that turned out to be the case. Yeah, he had a shot at it, but just couldn't get it to happen. I know he's the only Kraken player to have a hat trick in this building. So I don't know. I felt those vibes again, but it wasn't to be.
Yeah, I know. I was kind of feeling those too in front of his dad too. Like that would have been really, really cool.
We got to talk to him and his dad this morning. They were great. I mean, that was so fun this morning getting to talk to all the dads. Like I was thinking, if I can't given what I'm doing, but man, if I was just some neutral or whatever, I would put money on the Kraken on this game tonight, because you could tell they were feeling good. They were out there to impress the dads. There was no doubt in my mind the Kraken were going to win tonight.
I was going to say, Dad's going on road trip. They're going to be in
Yes,
San Jose?
They are. They're going on the San Jose road trip. I will try and get some more good content and stories from all of that as I go to San Jose there too.
Yep, definitely. One of the other things that's been talked about, kind of, I think, separate from the Tanev situation at the end, was the idea of a couple of people have brought up in chat, really not happy with the officiating in this one. I didn't think it was the greatest game, but I didn't think it was that bad either. Do you kind of have an opinion on it?
Yeah, I thought it was fine. There wasn't anything egregious that stood out to me. I know there was, a couple complaints on the missed calls. I know a lot of, the Red Wings fans or so that I was seeing in Twitter were complaining, before the Alexiak goal, that there was a missed trip there and a few things. But ultimately, I thought, I don't know, the missed calls basically kind of evened out. They just weren't calling much, and I thought that was okay.
Yeah, like I said, I thought they were okay. They kind of called the the obvious stuff, the high
Yeah,
sticks,
like the double minor high stick and ones like that they call.
Yeah, that's the stuff that you can expect. Coop, one thing that popped out to me and has for a while, Wenberg needs to be off of our power play. Tolvi put a perfect pass right to him, and he didn't even have his stick on the ice net front. Like he's standing straight up and down in the net front position. Plus, he's not even that good at faceoffs. You want to take that first?
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of been saying this. We've been saying this as far as, you need a solution there. And our solution was Yanni Gourde. Put Yanni Gourde net front. And then, hey, they put Yanni Gourde net front. And it's amazing. And it works great. But it's just on the other unit. They moved Jaden Schwartz off of there and put him into the bumper. I wonder if you could maybe put Jaden Schwartz in Wenberg's place and then move someone else to the bumper. I don't know. It feels like a lot of unnecessary shifting. But really, the Kraken only have two solid net front guys. That's Yanni Gourde and Jaden Schwartz. And but it was funny also hearing Hackstall this morning talk about Yanni Gourde going net front, and he said that Yanni's showing us that maybe we should have made that move a lot sooner. Like, you probably should have been there a lot earlier. Like, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, that seems like something that should have happened. It seemed pretty natural.
I mean, he even said, like, to us, the media, like, you guys come to all the practices, all the morning skates. You see him out there just spending hours in front of the net, tipping pucks. Like, that's what he does after every practice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't need to tell us. It's been one. I talked earlier about how much I love seeing him out there net front on the power play and what it's done, and the other changes that they've made to the power play too. Just the different areas in which they're trying to pass from. They're not seeming allergic to dropping below the goal line if they have to move things around. Like, all of that stuff's fantastic. They're utilizing open space, which is something you have available to you on a power play, and it's nice to kind of see them finally do things like that. Sean, another great Kraken home win. Is Grubauer's save percentage above 900 now? Also, how is Wenberg leading all Kraken forwards in time on ice per game despite his modest offensive stats? I'll start with the easy one with Grubauer. His save percentage was 900 coming into this game, and then he finished with 913. So yes, it's over 900. It's been over 900 for about a week now, or up and down.
Hallelujah.
Yes, I know. We finally got there. As for Wenberg, I mentioned it earlier. Allison did a good job talking about it. We've talked about it in the past, RJ. Wenberg brings a lot to the table as far as what he can do defensively. Allison talked during the second intermission. I know you didn't get to see this, RJ, about him shutting down Dylan Larkin in this game. And Dylan Larkin, through the first two periods, only essentially having like one shot on goal, only a couple shot attempts, and that being the work of Wenberg, really kind of focusing on him and trying to slow him down as he was on a 7-game point streak or a 6-game point streak and really been leading the Red Wings here. So I think that's partly why you see the Wenberg ice times. He's PK and power play, which helps boost that ice time, but also they do give him a pretty big responsibility as far as shutting down other guys.
Yeah, he's got a sizable shutdown role, and I think that's only grown recently as you're having him paired with a guy like Brandon Tanev and Jaden Schwartz, and that trio can really be a proper shutdown unit for you. They used him to great effect against Dylan Larkin in this game. And so he plays a lot of those quiet minutes, but generally, it's quiet for the other team as well. And I think maybe you could check me on this, but I think Wenberg has the fewest shots on goal of like any regular Kraken forward besides Morgan Geekie. I heard that somewhere, and I'm not sure if it's true, but if so, that's still kind of wild given that he leads the forwards in ice time.
Yeah, I was going to say, assuming you're throwing out defensemen, which would make sense.
I saw forwards. Yeah, regular forward.
Coming into this game, he only had 70 shots on goal, which is not a lot through 55 games at the time. So yeah, it's definitely that situation. Hardly surprising. I could have probably guessed that. We all know he's definitely got a pass first mentality, but it is one of those interesting situations. Joey, I was at the game, RJ. I hope you had a fantastic time, Joey. This was a good one to be at, definitely. Stratic, did Gru get a good goalie smooch from McCann? I think the broadcast was trying to catch it, but missed it.
I unfortunately missed it too, because McCann was one of the very first people to go to. I know he's always okay. This is what happens. The goalie smooch player is always at the end of the line. Like,
Yep.
this is what Cole in, always at the end of the line. McCann last time, always at the end of the line. He was first this time. I was not ready for it, and so I missed it.
Yeah, no, that's
So
fine.
I'm sorry. I saw him skating away. I'm like, no,
Oh
what
no!
was this?
Do we know how Cole Lind feels about all this, by the way? I wonder.
We don't. I know. Next time you guys make a trip down to Coachella Valley, you got to ask him about it.
He's like, that's my thing. Like, I did that. What are you doing? You trapped me in the AHL and stole my thing. I'm such a fun revenge thriller that we can make here over the offseason with these guys. Tammy, did everyone see the clip from 2 nights ago where Yanni was given the hat and immediately gave it to Borgen? Super classy move on Yanni's part. That was a fun video.
It was. No, that was a really fun video. And I'm telling you, I think I said this in the post game that Yanni like immediately said Will Borgen was our best player tonight, like, and just sung his praises. So he like unprompted too. So you could tell he was very convinced that Will Borgen had an amazing game. So I wasn't surprised to see the hat video. Yeah, that was a great one. And also I like the short little legs comment from Jaden Schwartz. From 5'10" Jaden Schwartz to 5'9" Yanni Cord.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is pretty good. It was pretty good. I mean, Gru's got to be the favorite probably for this one, but with these guys, you never know.
Yeah, no, it's exactly. I don't know.
Could be Gru, Maddie, Ebbs. They'll probably give it to like Susie or something just because it seems like that's what ends up happening. Coop, RJ, what are your thoughts on Kraken trade deadline moves now that O'Reilly is off the board?
Well, O'Reilly was kind of the top target I wanted. I didn't know he was going to be that expensive. I'm glad the Kraken didn't pay that price for him. But yeah, I don't really know what you do at this point. I mean, maybe like a Sam Lafferty or just some depth center. I still don't know that you really need that's that much of an upgrade, especially given what I've heard is that they want a couple second round picks for him. I wouldn't pay that price. I know that's just the asking price, but I mean, I'm not in support of a Jonathan Toews trade, but that's the only avenue I could see them going potentially if the price was low, because he's like, all right, fine, I only want to go to like 1 or 2 teams, then maybe, but it's just so expensive. It's clearly shaping up to be a seller's market. And if that's the case, I don't think Ron Francis is going to want to dip his toes into such a strong seller's market. There's a reason he made that Magna deal so far ahead of everything. It's just to get ahead of all that, those bidding wars and all of that stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised to just see no more moves from them or something very, very minor.
No, Chad already gave us the solution. We trade for Dylan Larkin. We give him a big contract. Everything's great. Everything's fine. We do it. I just
keep him here. Don't let him leave.
Everything I said about Bo Horvat, it's even better with Dylan Larkin. Let's make it happen. I'm all for it. Jonathan Toews, he's been on IR since the 7th of February with an illness. Is that just them not wanting him to get hurt? I haven't followed the situation that closely, or is this maybe something cropping up from like, a couple seasons ago when he missed significant time?
I don't know. I haven't seen anything, like confirming one way or another. I'm just not sure. Trade-related illness? I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm genuinely curious about that, because it's kind of before all that other stuff came down to put him on the 7th. So it's an interesting situation. I don't know. I'm still kind of the mindset. Maybe you just keep Susie, and that's your deadline acquisition is just holding on to Susie for the rest of the year. And just let's let it ride and see what happens. I'm really kind of on board with that at this point. Yeah,
I could see that. Although I'm still like, if you can get some kind of crazy good return for Susie, I still think you got to do it.
Yeah, I know. A first-round pick would be hard to turn down for Carson.
Yeah, a first-round pick. Look, that's the line. If some team's offering you a first for Susie, you do it. This draft class is so stacked.
Yeah, exactly. Because, you can always package those, move up, all sorts of stuff become available to you there. Jake, do you think Maddie hits 60 points this season? He's currently on pace for 58.5.
Ooh. I think he probably does, because I think he's just going to pick, again, this pace is given a very recent, 10-game point drought. I think he's going to start to, heat up again and pick things up. And yeah, I mean, that's tough because it's, you kind of have to go near a point per game to stay on that pace. But I think he can do it. Again, the Kraken also have I think the weakest schedule for the rest of the season of any NHL team. So
Yeah, it's now the second weakest. It's
Okay.
now the second weakest because some things shifted. I think, in part also because of Detroit for this game might have single-handedly done that. Yeah, it's the second weakest. But so yeah, it's still a fantastic schedule for them. Look, this is kind of normal for rookies. And we haven't talked about it a lot because of how great Maddie is. But if you go back to some of the stuff we talked about preseason, this is to be expected with rookies. And we talked about the idea of maybe keeping his ice time low. Maybe the coaching staff would want to do something like that just so that he doesn't burn out, because a lot of guys, their first time having an 82 game full season at the NHL level, they will hit a wall at some point, whether it's because the kind of, the bruises and everything starts piling up, or the conditioning's just not quite there yet. That's obviously not necessarily a concern with Matty Beniers. But just because of the absolute grind that it is with the traveling and the day-to-day nature of it all, it's everybody hits a wall at some point. And I think what we saw was just Matty kind of hit his wall, but now he's bouncing back. And I think he's going to stay strong the rest of this way. That's just how he's built. It's who he is as a person. So barring anything happening, I think he can hit 60 for sure, especially if he's going to play like he did tonight. I mean, he picked up two fantastic assists, and it felt like he left like 3 points on the board completely.
Yeah, he could have done a lot more.
Yes. Light, also big oof in chat for the Flyers team, who lost a 6-2 game again. Can't even imagine what Torts is going to do to them. I don't either. Oh, that's rough. Gary Marshall, good game, great goaltending. Good night. Good night. Definitely. Lindsay with the night. Yes, everybody heading off. Daniel
it's
asking
11 p.m. now, yeah.
Yes. Daniel asking, how was the chili cook-off, RJ?
It hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
So it's on Wednesday. So Wednesday, 7:00. Yeah, come taste some chili. I think it's $10 to taste the chili. It's awesome. Yeah,
At Queen Anne Beer Hall.
Queen Anne Beer Hall. So, yes, at Queen Anne Beer Hall, of course. I'm sorry, my mind got too focused on the chili. I just get this tunnel vision for the chili when I think about it. But yes, it's going to be a great event at Queen Anne Beer Hall. Yeah, no, come down there. Join everyone. It's going to be a real fun time. I'm looking forward to being one of the judges. I hear that there are 13 different chilies that we're going to be trying, so going to be super fun.
Pretty good stuff. Daniel also asking, do you think the grandpas of the dad group get any special treatment? Did you notice anything?
I'm sorry, you cut out for a bit. Actually, the Climate Pledge Arena Wi-Fi just cut out for a bit. So
okay. Do you think the grandpas of the dad group get any special treatment?
Ooh, do I think the grandpas get any special treatment?
Did you notice anything?
No, I didn't. But I'm thinking, did we talk to? Okay, we talked to two grandpas and then just one dad. So Maddie's dad, and then the two grandpas, of course, were one grandpa, and that's Darren Eberle, and then the grandpa to be soon, Craig Geeky. So I don't know. Maybe they do. I don't know. Because Darren Eberle seemed to be getting some pretty good treatment, I guess. So, but it was funny because there were some questions about that too. Like Craig Geeky was asked, like, what's it like soon becoming a grandpa? And he's like, it's crazy. It's actually, to be honest, kind of weird. Like I'm 49. Like I don't know about this.
Yeah, it's a little early maybe, but it's all good. Yeah, it's and then I mean Hackstall's got his father-in-law, right? I got that right?
Yes, his father-in-law. He had a great line about that.
Yes,
today.
He did.
Yeah. I wonder if he ever found him, because he's like, I haven't seen him since we came in the building. I don't know where he is.
Still
I wonder if he ever found him.
Wandering the halls of KCI.
Speaking of wandering the halls, though, there was a fun comment actually from Morgan and Craig Geeky about like, oh, have you ever been to Climate Pledge before? Asking Craig, and they're eventually like, yeah, no, he was, I was here one time, back a little while, like last season, and then Morgan's like, yeah, after dark. like, yeah, I don't know if we were supposed to be there, but yeah, I've seen it before, so I don't know what the story was behind that.
Yeah. Got a super chat here from Sean. Nice to see Maddie back at full speed the last couple of games. Saturday night dance party on the town with the dads and grew.
Some very loud grooves tonight.
Yes, they were. That was fantastic to hear from the arena. What a great line. Saturday night dance party on the town with the dads. Stick that on a shirt. That's fantastic. If the dads don't show up
to everyone.
if the dads don't show up wearing that in San Jose, I'm gonna be disappointed. thanks for the super chat, Sean, and thanks for the awesome line there. All right, Stratic, I bet Lind was like, Jared, I have a mission for you while I'm gone. It's on you to smooch the goalies now. And Rebecca saying, apparently McCann has a history of goalie kissing in Pittsburgh, which I'm fascinated that it hasn't come up until now. Anyway, he might have seniority on Cole Lind. Interesting. I'm gonna have to go back and take a look at that. That is definitely interesting. Medeiros, though, I like this comment. Still love the hat videos where they are still rewarding effort, not just the score sheet. Seems like a good culture shift. I really agree with that.
Yeah, and that is what this team's culture is all about. Like this season, you can tell it's whoever's putting in the most effort, whoever's most grinding. Like you can tell there's full buy-in on that idea, and it just works perfectly for the hat.
Definitely does. Absurdly saying Grew got second star, so maybe the hat went to somebody else. Who got first star? If Grew's Jordan Everly got first star.
Yeah,
all right.
I think it's deserved.
Yeah, all right. Then Grew should get the hat. That's how I would read that situation. Striatic, obviously somebody who listens to us. RJ, trade for Sean Monahan in the bargain bin.
Yes, all for it. 100% trade for Sean Monahan all day. I don't care what you have to give up. Just go get him.
There you go. For those of you who stayed up till 11:10 now to watch this, I'm gonna give you all a behind the scenes draft day secret from Sean Monahan, okay? Because I was at that draft, the Monahan draft 2013 draft. McKinnon went 1, Seth Jones, all that kind of stuff. I was there doing my yelling at the ref thing, promoting that website that I was doing at the time. I ended up getting the scouting job with Portland from that draft, all that kind of stuff. When I was going around, I was trying to give out swag that I had, yelling at the ref swag to all the prospects. And one of the ones I gave a shirt to was actually Sean Monahan, who was eating a hot dog. I kid you not, trying to eat the entire hot dog in one bite while he was doing this. So I walk up to him, he shoves the entire hot dog in his mouth and then accepted the t-shirt from me, like very much with, just cheeks full of hot dog and everything. So there you go, everybody. That's your reward. Staying up late tonight, you get that sweet behind the scenes Sean Monahan story.
So yes, I am all for this. You must acquire this man. Yeah, we did call him Hot Dog Boy, yes, in conversations for a little while after that. I know you have more stories from that draft too. We got to drop them on a regular podcast at some point. We got to do one that's just like maybe in the offseason, just all draft stories.
That would be good from all the drafts because we've been to a couple together too. And then we can also try to resurrect the boring Sean Monahan Twitter account.
Has it been dormant?
Well, it was like 3 years between tweets last time, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah,
probably. So my guess is it's probably
got to bring that back.
Yeah. Let's see, Cameron. I think once we see in the next week some of the teams on the playoff line, not really contenders like the Wild or Wings or the Preds fall or stay put, they'll be making decisions on players. Yeah, I don't know. I'm always curious to see if we ever get a good trade deadline in the NHL. RJ, hasn't happened the last couple of years. Maybe they've just been saving it up for now.
Maybe. I don't know what feels special about this season, but it could happen.
Coop, I'm really, really hoping that Matty drive to the net was a sign of things to come. We haven't really seen his ISO transition game yet, and it's so exciting. It is exciting, RJ.
It is. I mean, just watching that, like I kind of sat up in my seat a little extra when he started building up that speed. I felt like something special was coming, and the way he just kind of went inside out on that Red Wings defender covering him, it's just a thing of beauty.
Definitely. Coop also has an interesting one here. With Matty's relative shooting slump, do you think the league has learned his spot? Seems like he tends to always shoot low glove, above the pad, below the glove.
Interesting. I mean, I do know what you're talking about. Like, I know kind of the spot that he likes to aim for. It is something that would show up on film. Like, if goalies are watching, you do see guys shooting tendencies, and sometimes you do have to adjust. So that could certainly be a factor.
Yeah, nice. It looks like Grubauer got the hat. Everybody coming in here loud about that. And it sounds like we might have also got a speech from his dad.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
That would be cool. Yes.
In German or English?
I don't know. We'll have to see. Definitely looking forward to that one. Gonna just burn through these last couple here at the end. Tammy, I thought it was interesting that in the pregame broadcast they mentioned it's probably the first time in Matty's life that he's had that long of a drought. Definitely for just about any NHL player outside of like the real bruisers. any drought they have in the NHL is the longest drought of their career.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
And with Matty, you know, he almost got that one when he had that like slap shot from like 5 feet in front of Husso. It almost got through in that spot, by the way. So we will see. Maybe Husso really knew that he was going there. Cameron, I wonder what the asking price of a Zucker from Pittsburgh or maybe a Bukestad from Arizona could be. That's an interesting name, actually, Nick Bukestad.
Yeah, I haven't. I mean, you know, big center. I think he plays center still.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know
wonder
that
what that contract looks like.
he would kind of just be like a slightly more defensive Morgan Geeky. Like, I don't know that he'd be enough
Don't
of
know
an
that's a huge upgrade. Yeah.
Yeah. Zucker's an interesting one. The
That
little
would be
bit
an
of,
upgrade just on the ice.
I was going to say, the little bit of Penguins fan still left in me is like, yes, please take it from Pittsburgh. Let them go get somebody else. That contract is not great.
He's been playing better of late, though.
He has been. Joshua, Monahan story totally worth staying up past 2 a.m. for the ECH dance party. Definitely glad it was worth it. Thank you again, Joshua, for staying up. All of you on the East Coast, Barbara in Europe, letting us know it was in English.
Okay, in English. Okay. We had a little meeting of the German embassy outside the Kraken locker room. I will say Grubauer and Moritz Seider talking after the game, so that was cool to see.
That is really cool. Yeah, I love when we get that from the countries that don't have a ton of guys. When they can all get together and stuff like that, because you know they all know each other from like the national teams and whatnot too. It's pretty cool. All right, Alex saying Bukestad would be very cheap in terms of dollars. Yeah, he would, but again, is he? I don't know. All right, I think that's gonna do it. Thank you everybody for staying up for this one. Another fantastic win, RJ. Hope you're looking forward to the chili cookout at Queen Anne Beer Hall, our fantastic sponsor of these post-game lives. You got any closing remarks other than maybe just like a big Gru? Just shout it out to that big empty arena behind you.
Gru!
There we go.
Yeah, all the people out there heard me. There you go.
Yep, definitely. Tammy with the waves goodbye to Afra. Yes, she is totally asleep over on the bed next to me, head under the blanket because she hates the little bit of light that I'm giving off right now. This is well past her bedtime, getting past my bedtime too. So we're gonna go ahead and sign off. Thanks everybody for joining us once again. Another dance party. It's awesome. We'll see you all with deep dive on Monday, and then also for that Sharks game should be a good one. And reminder, it's a 1 o'clock start.
Yes, 1 o'clock start for that Sharks game. So yeah, make sure you don't miss it. Have that on. And one more thing I do want to say, of course, with the dad's trip and everything, you know, seeing all that around and how much it meant to all the players. Want to give a quick shout out to my dad, who again, you know, without all his support for this stuff and you know and love and all that stuff, I wouldn't be here doing this. And so just want to give him a quick shout out. Definitely thought about him a lot today. You know, with the dad's trip.
Yeah, I'll give one to my dad now because I kind of have to. Thanks, RJ.
I put into that box. Now.
All right, I gave you grief coming into the stream. It's all good. All right, definitely love you too, Dad, and yeah, we'll see you all on Monday.